Hey legacy builders, welcome back to Mind Your Money. In today's video I'm going to be doing a budget by paycheck closeout for the second paycheck in the month of October, and I'm going to jump right in. So if you're new here, thank you for being here. Don't forget to subscribe with the bell notification on. I am doing a zero-based budget, so every single dollar is going to get an assignment, and my paycheck is going to include the actual paycheck amount plus some cushion that we have in our operating account, and then some money I transfer from savings to the operating account so I could pay an additional amount on the credit card. The top priority for this paycheck is Exodus 14, the Lord shall fight for you. And I am going to write in my actual numbers first, but I have to do a little bit of adding. We had 2 paychecks come in at the same time for this week, so that was $900. And then I transferred $144 from savings so that I can make an additional debt payment. And then we had $66.52 in our account when the paychecks hit, so that's my cushion, to bring us to a total paycheck of $11.10.52. We're going to start with giving. And because some of this paycheck includes savings, we've already tithed off of those. So we're only tithing off of what came in new and fresh. So $90 is our actual tithe for this week, and that's our only giving right now. For investing, again, this is automatic. So $35 is going to be pulled out for my IRA to Fidelity, and $30 is going to be pulled out from Robinhood. So this is basically for next week, since we're a week ahead of those automatic withdrawals or transfers. And then cash expenses, I did pull out $100 in cash, and what I plan to do with that on Tasha's money and stuff is to put $25 aside for laundry, put $10 into my little wallet, $30 towards the kids' payroll, and the rest of that money, $35, will go towards different challenges that I'm working on. And then for bills/expenses, now I think what I'm doing for debt is going to be $125 plus the $144 that I transferred. So it's going to be $269. I don't know if you can see it, but $269 is on my calculator. $269 is going towards debt. Let's hope I did that right, because I don't have whiteout or correction tape. So $475 is going towards our rent plus the extra that I'm putting aside. So this is way more than what our rent is. I just want to start prepping myself for a mortgage. The Visa, I wanted to make an extra payment on this 0% interest card, the money that I transferred, but I'm not going to be able to do that today, because I wanted to make an extra payment towards the Quicksilver card, because we've been using that and then we owe some money on it and we want to pay that down quickly. So nothing on the Visa right now. So $269 plus $475 means $744 is our total for bills/expenses. That's where that money is going. And then we're going to move over to savings. Excuse me, I'm getting over this cold, so my voice is still a little funny. $75 is an automatic savings. So basically we have 4 places that we want money to go to automatically each week, and these are our purpose funds. So some of this money is going towards our food fund. We have some going to our transportation fund. We have money going to our wellness fund. And then we have 4 children, so we always need to have money going towards the clothing fund. So we're starting with these. I have about 15 purpose funds for very specific purposeful things or categories, and we're starting off a little small, but I want to eventually automate my entire budget. But this is us building up to that. The emergency fund was supposed to get $15. That was the plan, but we're not able to put anything in there this week. And the cushion will get $36.52. I wrote this in before I started filming. I was planning out how the budget would go. $36.52 is what will be left over. We started with $66.52, which means I think we just used $30 from whatever was in there. Yeah, so that we could make sure that our tithe gets, we do our giving, and we have money for the automatic savings, investings, and whatnot. And then I already pulled out the cash, so I needed to have that at least. Christmas is not getting anything, but I'm jumping ahead because I need to total this savings bucket. 75 plus 36.52 is $111.52. I consider the cushion a savings, even though it's in the checking account, because it's not being used right away. It's just there just in case. Okay, so we don't have anything else for purpose funds or for other. So that's it for the total paycheck. I'm going to zoom back out and then look at everything and add up each of the buckets to make sure it totals up to $11.10 and 52 cents. I hope I did that right. So 90 plus 65 plus 100 plus 744 plus 111.52. Yeah, 11.10 and 52 cents. So we have a zero-based budget. Every dollar got an assignment, right? Even down to what's left in the checking account as a cushion. So our actual budget was 1,110 with 52 cents. Our expenses equaled the same, and we have nothing left to budget with. So our giving, savings, and investing percentages are important to me to track. My minimum giving is 10%, savings and investing is 6%. So let's see if we hit any of those goals. I'm trying to see if you can, make sure you can see my calculator. All right, so we gave 90, divided that into the 11.10.52, multiplied by 100 is 8.1%. I know this is going to be skewed because the total income that we used includes an inflow of savings. Yeah. So it's a little bit skewed. The actual amount is 10% because the actual paycheck was 900. Divide that into the 90, or do it backwards, it's 10%. But anyway, savings, I'm going to include everything in the savings bucket, and that's 111.52. Divide that into 11.10.52, multiplied by 100, and that's 10%. Isn't that something? I wanted to say something because I just had this thought, and I thought I should share it. The money that's being put aside for the rent, the extra, I'm making it into a bill. So I'm forcing myself not to include that in our savings because it's like it's going to be for future, and I don't want to dip into that. So I'm telling myself when I write it in my bills/expenses bucket that this is a bill. Even though this is not the cost of our rent, right now this is more than enough for us to get ahead of when we're ready to start a mortgage. So I just wanted to make that clear in case anybody else was wondering, because it came to my head. Okay, investing was 65. Divide that into 11.10.52, multiplied by 100 is 5.8%. So we were short on that today, but that's okay. If we use the actual 900, we're over. So the actual paycheck was 900. So if we just took the 65 and divided it into that amount, we're 7.2% of this check invested, because remember, some of this was savings and cushion and whatnot. So I did everything right. I'm excited that I'll be able to make a debt payment on the Quicksilver credit card of $269 today, because gosh, I need to do it. I need to get this down. I already made a payment off camera for $107, and that $107 is something that came from one of our savings accounts, because I'm trying to get this down as quickly as possible. Some of what we charged in the month of October so far hadn't been paid back yet, and I'm trying to get ahead of that, so when our bills hit the card, we're not increasing that balance too much. I want to see it going down. So we're working hard, doing the hard work, trying to get it down. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and make my money moves. That means I'm going to transfer money from the operating account to whatever account we need it to go to, and then I'll come back and I'll do my expense tracker update on camera. All right, so all of our money moves were made. So I only transferred the giving for $90. The cash has already come out, and the $475 towards rent plus extra, and I made a payment on my Quicksilver card for $269. Everything else, again, was already done. I already pulled out the cash. This money stays behind so Fidelity and Robinhood can take theirs. The automatic savings comes out every Friday, and then there's a automatic credit card payment once a month included in this, so that's already in there, and the $36.52 is what's left behind. So we're looking at my account balance right now before those investments, savings, and the debt payment actually hits. We have a current balance of $445 and 52 cents. Need to make sure I'm saying the things right. So let me move over to my expense tracker. That's for the operating account, right? Yeah. So I need to make a few updates on this as well, because we ended with a balance of $466.52 the 9th, after the first part of our paycheck was deposited. I wrote that so sloppy, but it is what it is. Let's look at what we have left. $466.52 after $400. I think the next transaction was a withdrawal from the ATM, and that was on the same day for $100, and that was for this week's paycheck. So I'm just label that category as cash and subtract the 100, which would bring us to $366 with 52 cents. Let's keep our running total. And after the $366.52 balance, then we had another paycheck hit, and that was the $500. And so when we add that 500, we get $866.52 as our balance. And then made multiple deposits totaling $144 from our household account, our food fund, our next month's bills account, our annual bills account, and our family savings. So I'm just going to group them into one. I'm going to label this as transfers, and yeah, just say deposit. And this is savings used. It's income, I know that, but it's still savings used. So that was $144. We add that in, and we come to our $10.52. So that was our paycheck minus the $100 in cash that I pulled out. So, or our budget, I should say, because our paychecks was $900. So our budget was $10.52. And then I made 2 transfers today from Capital One. And the first one was the transfer to my tithe and give account, and that was $90. So subtracting 90 from that brings us to $920 with 52 cents. And after that, I made a transfer of $475 in our Capital One account to our placeholder for the rent. So this is rent plus extra, $475. So minus $475 brings us to $445.52. That's what we have in the account right now. And although this payment has not posted yet, I'm going to write it in so that I know that it's there, so I don't forget that we have a pending payment and then I go and try to use the debit card somewhere, because we can't do that right now. We have the money that we need for spending already. So we use what we have until this debt is paid off. So debt is $269, right? Let me make sure, because I forgot already. Yeah, $269 towards the Quicksilver. So minus $269 brings us to $176.52. And that is, oh my gosh, you couldn't see it, I'm sorry. That is enough, more than enough, to take care of the automatic transfers to savings, automatic payments or transfers, you can call it either one, to our investment platforms for next week. So we're good to go. And now what I need to do is set up a budget by paycheck for paycheck number 3 of the month. And paycheck number 3 is the 18th of the month. So let me write the date first, and this is number 3. And because our income was a little bit less, I'm going to plan for $900. I know our monthly budget was $4,400, which would equal out to $1,100 per paycheck, but it is what it is. So we're going to plan for $900. I know I have a cushion in there. I'm not including that right now. I'll include whatever is left, let's say, once we get to next week. 10% of what we get is going to tithe, and this here is going to be my top priority, so I'm going to write it in my little priority box. Okay, so that's it. Matthew 11:28, come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. So I might use that again. I just feel comforted by it. All right, so giving, we're going to put aside our tithe. I was thinking about including the donation to Safe Horizon. That's a charity that I choose to invest in a sense, but it is going to hit the credit card, so I'm not going to plan for it from this paycheck since we're budgeting with just $900, but it still will be given. So the plan for our tithe will be $90, and that's going to be the total of our bucket. And then for investing, this is the same. It doesn't change right now until we can increase it again. I just recently increased this from $25 each per week to $35 going to the Fidelity and $30 going to Robinhood. So we're slowly increasing it as we can. All right, so cash expenses should be the same. I'm trying to think while I'm writing this out what my husband would be okay with me reducing. I mean, he doesn't really care. Honestly, he knows that, you know, things are going as well as they can, and he's working hard, and I'm managing the money as best as I can, but I'm doing this off the top of my head. Laundry usually gets $25 because we need at least that amount to wash. My wallet, I like to go to Chick-fil-A every now and then and get myself a meal. And so if I can just do that once a week, that would be nice. And I'd usually give myself $10. But knowing that we are working with a little bit less, I'm thinking if I should cut me out of it. I should just say no to the $10 and this is for the 3rd week, just so we can cut back a little bit. I think I'm going to do that. I'm not going to give myself anything. I can plan for myself. The kids challenges, though, not the kids challenges. I wrote kids challenges, but I meant kids payroll. That's what this is for. $30. This is not going to look nice, but I need to cross that out so I can put payroll. And savings challenges, how much should I take out? Because this is already $55. Maybe I'll take $75 out because I'm budgeting for less. So 30 plus 25 is 55. Is that what I said? Minus 75 is $20 for challenges. So that's $75. 25 plus 30 plus 20. Okay. We'll plan for $75. Move this over a little bit. And then bills/expenses. What we need to pay is 1/4 of our rent, but this is the extra. How did I forget that so fast? $475. And before I move on, let me take out my calculator and make sure I'm not going over. 90 for giving, 65 for the investing, 75 in cash, 475 for, okay, 195 left. So before I choose a debt amount, a snowball amount, what I'm going to do is fill in my automatic savings. Because remember, we have 4 different accounts that get money each week, and that's $75 at a minimum. So we have 120 left. So I don't think we're going to put anything to the emergency fund in the 3rd week unless the income is more than 900. And so this bucket will be $75. And for purpose funds, I do want to fill in Christmas. I don't think I budgeted for Christmas on my monthly budget, but I'm just putting it there to see if anything does happen, anything does change. So the debt is going to get $120. We want to make sure that we don't increase that, but we decrease it. We're not trying to increase our debt anymore. So $595 for bills and expenses in the 3rd week. All right, so I'm going to zoom out again and see if I can fit the whole book, at least this page, in the frame. And then we're going to add up everything to make sure it totals to 900. So 90 for giving, 65 for investing, 75 in cash, 595 for bills, and then 75 for savings. Boom. We have a zero-based budget. So 900 planned income, 900 planned expenses. All right, now that is done, I can move on to just quickly look at my monthly budget to make sure I'm doing what I should be doing. Christmas was to get $100. Let's see what happens. I did pay that speed ticket. We did give our first fruit. There's nothing else to update yet. The emergency fund did get a little bit of money, I think, in Paycheck 1. But there's nothing else to update on the monthly budget. So I'm just going to move from here. Check out my goals quickly. We're still doing the automatic savings and investing. Laundry needs $100, so I'm still sticking to that. But I'm changing up some things for myself at least. So I can still give the kids their payroll money, or at least put it aside for them. And yeah, so that's paycheck number 2 for the month of October is done. Paycheck number 3 is set up and ready to go. Yeah. I think we're sticking to our goals. Continue to contribute to kids' payroll. Pay $120 toward Fidelity Visa. I don't know yet. We paid $63, so we still have the $67. And pay down Quicksilver. We're doing that. I'm trying my best to take money for wherever we can, find the dollars to put towards it to bring it down and get it to zero quickly. All right, you guys, that is it, and that is all for this week's video, or at least this budget by paycheck. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Whenever you're watching this, have a wonderful day. Continue to mind your money, manage it well, and live your lives abundantly, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye for now.